of view from four very different perspectives. On the crazy and unpredictable world of professional wrestling as the Pure Theory Creations Entertainment Network presents a live, interactive show where you can be part of a conversation of all things professional wrestling, from the major leagues to the independents. This is Fatal 4-Way, live on ON TV.
Hey there, I am high-flying wrestler Matt Seidel from all.
It can't go wrong if it's live. We welcome you to a very special edition of Fatal 4-Way live on ON TV. We are outdoors and we are celebrating the biggest party of the summer that's coming up in just a week away from now. Along with Brian Bolf, Shawn Grugel, Hollywood Q, I'm Jason Clouse. We certainly appreciate you tuning in here. And so far, leading up to this, we've had nothing short of a good time, gentlemen. Q, would you agree with that?
We're having a blast. I mean, we got hot dogs all over the place. We got a nice crowd out here, man. We got kids playing at the park. There's all kind of stuff going on. We just having a good time, man.
Absolutely, and we cannot be more thankful to the fine folks at ON TV for allowing this to be a thing, and we thank you for joining us here on this Friday night. But we're not alone, gentlemen. We have a very special guest that's going to be joining our panel here. Joining us is a guy, if you've watched MWO here on ON TV for any length of time, you're going to know this guy. And if you don't know him yet, you soon will, because he's one of the future world champions of this business. Welcome to the show and welcome back to Lake Orion, Michigan, TNA superstar, the Black Diamond, Jack Price.
Good to see you, brother. I gotta get on my chair.
Jack Price, it has been a long time since you have been here in Lake Orion, Michigan. You got your start here, and now you're considered one of the rising stars of this business. You're now working with TNA, but now that you're here for the first time in a long time, what does this feel like?
Man, this
Coming full circle, right?
Yes. It's so weird to be here because it's like you said, I started here. I got my start, and but just seeing everybody who I started with, like it's a few people here that was here with me, and it's like a reunion.
It really is. It really is. Yeah, it's really cool. We got you here, and other Hall of Famers have joined us here in Lake Orion as part of this very special edition of the Fatal 4-Way. And what makes this so special is we are breaking down the SummerSlam pay-per-view event that takes place on August the 3rd, a week from tomorrow, and you can see that exclusively on Peacock. But right now, as things stand here, gentlemen, we're going to break this down. There's 7 matches. 6 of them are championship matches, and we'll start off with the World Heavyweight title match that has been signed. In my opinion, this should be the match that gets more hype just because of the situation with the King of the Ring being involved in this. Q, we're going to see Gunther finally have his opportunity on pay-per-view or premium live event, as it were, in the main event or a main event for a world championship against Damian Priest. Damian Priest has been somebody that's been very polarizing on our panel here. He's gotten away with wins over the likes of Jey Uso. He's gotten wins over the likes of McIntyre, but now he's going in the ring with the King General, Gunther. Now, this is the guy that we have posed as the next world champion. Is this his night, in your opinion?
Absolutely. I mean, Gunther is the real final boss. I mean, you know what? And I want to really give a shout out to Priest because he's gotten better. He's gotten better, and I know he had a lot to prove holding that strap. And the fact that he was able to carry it all the way to the summer, and seeing him this past Monday, to me, was the best showing of Priest. I mean, he just came in there, no talking. He just started going to war with Gunther. But it's Gunther's night. I mean, if you look at his statistics, he has always held some type of strap for some type of record. And I believe that this is going to be the beginning of his ascend to the top.
Shawn, we've talked about Damian Priest a lot on the hot tag as to whether or not he was the right guy to become world champion at WrestleMania, especially in the way that he did. Now, with these, he's had 2 pay-per-view title matches. Both of them have ended controversially. Now he's going in there with Gunther, and what we saw this past week on Monday Night Raw was an attempt to make him a believable threat to Gunther, because on paper, nobody's stopping this guy, right? Between winning the title at WrestleMania and getting ready for this match at SummerSlam, is he ready for the kind of match that Gunther is going to bring him? And does he have any chance at all to retain the title?
Let me do this. You won't hit a guy with glasses on, will you? Because I don't think it's Gunther's time yet.
Really?
I really don't. It's been proven time and time again. It's not about the winning of the belt. It's about the hunt. Mm-hmm. And I don't think the storyline is quite set for Gunther to take it. Everyone wants it. And what happens when everyone wants it? WWE pulls it away from him. I think you're going to see Damian Priest hold on to that belt at least another PLE, and then possibly see Gunther, with the help of his comrades, get that title for him.
What's interesting about this, Brian, is the next PLE after SummerSlam is Bash in Berlin. Mm-hmm. And we all speculated that Gunther is going to be factored into the main event at Bash in Berlin. It's in his hometown, right? So does he stand better to go into Berlin as champion or challenger in this, in terms of the way he has been presented up to this point?
I think the fans in Berlin would rather see him walk in with the belt and have to defend it than to try to win it after just losing a PLE match. Mm-hmm. So I disagree. I think it's Gunther's going to take it.
He took the glasses off.
Yep.
That's why. I think the big thing will be, can Damian Priest put on enough of a show that he stays relevant after this?
Jack, let me ask you your opinion on this. Gunther is one of the rare guys that we have been privy to his journey from the independent circuit, right, and all the way up to the pinnacle of WWE at this point. He is in a world title match at WrestleMania. This comes after having the history-making run with the Intercontinental Championship. For a guy like you that is really trying to get your footing in a bigger promotion after working the indie circuit, what kind of inspiration is a guy like Gunther?
It's a big inspiration. So to go against you, Shawn, I think it's Gunther's time.
Wow. I am outvoted completely here.
I'm not a big Damian Priest fan, and
I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
he's got talent, right?
Yes, he
but
does.
He's just not the guy, in my opinion.
And I don't see it. But you know, somebody in the WWE sees something. He's not a champ for nothing. So
right.
But Gunther, he's a champ without being a champ. Like, he's just the man. You know what I'm saying? You've seen what he did with the Intercontinental title. He made it relevant again.
Absolutely.
And you know, since Sami Zayn has it, it's people turning on Sami Zayn. So it's like Gunther is it. That it factor. I still don't know what that it factor is in wrestling terms, but he has it though. So, but to answer the question, he's a big inspiration. He grind, and now he's at the top, and he's going to stay there for a while.
He certainly is, and it's going to be very interesting because, I mean, with this match in particular, there really is no, this is not a really easy match to predict. We have sat here for weeks and said, well, this is what's going to happen with Drew McIntyre. This is what's going to happen with Jey Uso. This is what's going to happen with this guy, and Damian Priest winds up winning. And we sit here and like, what is the appeal here? They're trying with him, right, Q? And I mean, and that's where it starts. And, you know, they're trying to make him a bona fide main event guy. But I kind of feel like, and I thought about this on Monday, watching Monday Night Raw, was he's on the trajectory right now to be the next Roman Reigns in terms of they put so much on him at one time before he was ready. Take it off of him for a little bit, let him get reacclimated to this, kind of tweak the character a little bit, then bring him back up to the main event. It's going to be interesting to see how that happens, because you know Gunther's going into Berlin one way or the other in that main event. And
Absolutely.
It's very much a Rocky IV, real life Rocky IV, you know, scenario here. Moving on is also another title match, and this one has a lot of fans talking based on the weeks and weeks of the build-up. After a long time off with injury, Rhea Ripley is back in the ring, and she is going to challenge Liv Morgan for the World Women's title at SummerSlam. We knew this match was going to happen, Brian, but did we think it was going to happen this soon? I really didn't.
I wasn't expecting it.
No.
I mean, as soon as Rhea showed up, which I hear she's actually not going to be completely cleared until SummerSlam. Like, that's why she's not doing anything but just promo work. But no, I'm excited though.
Shawn, as far as the two women's title matches that are part of this card, this is probably the one the fans are most invested in. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's absolutely been the best storyline in women's wrestling, definitely for the last 3-4 months. I definitely see something different going to happen in this match, and I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah. Q, the storyline between this is, you know, with you when you factor Dominic in the middle of this has become, it's almost become one of them polarizing storylines where, is it too over the top with the love triangle gimmick? But I mean, if you've been a long-time wrestling fan, this type of thing has been ongoing. Just, it's a different coat of paint, right? So of this match, is Rhea Ripley the shoo-in? Is she the one of all the matches here? This is the one that is the easiest to call.
No, not necessarily easy to call, but I kind of see this kind of like becoming a series, because the story is hot, and you can, if you look at the YouTube numbers alone, I mean, they are drawing more numbers than anything else right now. So that story is hot, and they're not going to end it right there at SummerSlam. I think if Rhea wins, just go ahead and wins the title, then that kills the whole thing. So I can see a swerve happening with Dominic. This kind of brings me back to Eddie Guerrero and China, and that whole thing back then. That's a hot story, and this is a hot story, so they're going to push this one probably to the end of the year.
Is that how you see it going too, Antoine? Are these two the two that would be the ones to rebuild this women's division in? Because it seems like for a minute it kind of took a dip, and now there's this renewed interest with this rivalry with Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley, especially with as over as Rhea Ripley is. Is this what the division needs for that big reboot?
Oh, for sure. Liv has stepped up. Like, I was not a fan of Liv, and for some reason she got my attention. Like,
Was it Monday?
It was for sure Monday. For sure on Monday. But
Jack Price has already got 39 kids.
yes,
He doesn't
yes,
need 40.
I don't need 40. But
Oh man, you in my boat, man.
like, this storyline is great, and it's going to elevate all participants that's in it. And I don't think Rhea's going to win, but you don't be surprised if she does. But I think Liv is going to keep it for a minute.
It's going to be interesting because I'm very much with you. Liv Morgan, I could, as soon as she came on the TV, that was the popcorn break. You know what I mean? It was time to get up and stretch because I just was not invested. Since winning the World Women's title, she's been doing her best work, and it's a prime example of what happens when you get that boost, you get that stamp of approval, not just from the front office, because obviously they're the ones that are making the call, but the fans are finally starting to rally around her. And now you include Rhea Ripley into this, who is probably arguably the most over of the women superstars in WWE right now, right?
Over than most of the men.
That's for sure. If you have an opinion on this, we're going to attempt to take live phone calls at 810-331-2829, and we'll try to pipe that in through the wonders of Bluetooth, so just bear with us. But you can also be a part of the conversation through the chat on the Orion ONTV feed that's happening live right now. Gentlemen, moving on is a rematch for the Intercontinental Championship. We talked about this title a little bit ago at the top of the program because of Gunther's stranglehold that he had on it that set a longevity record. But now it's around the waist of Sami Zayn. And we have been, our opinions of Sami Zayn have been kind of across the board. There are people who appreciate him. There are people who are kind of tired of him. I am of the latter. Because while I understand the appeal, I don't feel like he is in the position. He's in the wrong spot, in my opinion. I don't feel like he needs to be in such a high-profile match. It's just my opinion. This guy he's just never resonated with me. But he is that ultimate underdog. That is on full display when he once again will put the title on the line at SummerSlam against Braun Breaker. And Shawn, we'll start with you on this one. Braun Breaker is pegged to be one of the next main event guys. Like this is one of the guys that WWE is poised to put a lot of stock into in the coming months and years as a potential WrestleMania main event performer. But here, for the second time in consecutive PLEs, he's got Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental title. Does he do it at SummerSlam?
Yes. I mean, yeah. I mean, Braun Breaker is next level. Sami Zayn, let's face it, he's a great worker, but as far as I'm concerned, ever since his fall from the bloodline, his story has really fallen along with him. I think the fans are invested in him, but only because, he's entertaining to watch in the ring. There's no story behind him. There's no push behind him. The push is behind Braun Breaker. And if you don't believe in Breaker, then I don't know what to tell you.
So Brian, they've really tried to, they've really adopted the ultimate underdog persona with Sami Zayn. That was very heavy in the story leading up to the Money in the Bank match, their first one-on-one match for the Intercontinental title, that somehow or another Zayn walked out of with the title. Has the ultimate underdog thing kind of run its course with Sami Zayn at this point? Have we seen that one too many times? Has the momentum finally started to go back down to the valleys of it?
When you said the underdog story, I thought you were going to go back to the Roman Reigns one even. So yeah, like you said, it's consistently Sammy's the underdog. And
Right.
Eventually, the underdog's not going to keep pulling it off.
Right.
Especially when he doesn't have the push behind him like Braun Breaker has.
I mean, you got to look at it from a reality standpoint too, right, Jack? Because when on paper you look at a guy the stature of a Braun Breaker, the dude is built like a brick house, and then you got Sami Zayn, who looks like a real life version of Yukon Cornelius from the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer cartoons. You know what I'm saying? On paper, I mean, how much does reality have to be taken into consideration, especially in a situation like this where you have a high-profile rematch in back-to-back PLE events? And in your opinion, who walks out of here with the Intercontinental Championship?
I believe Sami Zayn for sure. That ultimate underdog is gonna. I know it's stale. Like a lot of people dislike it, but it's gonna continue to happen, and it's gonna work. It's gonna get back over. And like fans are weird. Like people in general is just weird. Like at one point, he was the biggest star in the company, you know.
Right.
And then at a couple months down the road, they hate this guy because he's winning though. That's why they hate him, because he's winning. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but Braun Breaker, he's the next big thing. I just don't think he's ready. Like, there's something about him that I don't see he's ready. Like, he can wrestle though for sure, but
is it the promo skills?
I can't even say, because promos is my fault. Like I ain't gonna say I suck at promos, but I'm not the best at. I can get by, you know.
Right.
But on that stage, promos is very important, and like if you can't cut a promo, you can't get pushed like that. So. Right.
Yeah. That's true. Then this is where a manager would come into play, mm-hmm. right? The reintroduction of more managers in the business, because I mean, we're starting to see a few here and there pop up that are becoming prominent. But Q, Jack makes a good point. Like, Braun has 90% of what's needed to go to that next level. The lack of promo is obviously an issue. Is this where he would benefit from a manager? And if he did have a manager, would he be in a better position to take that next step?
I think he would, but also I think his intensity level is just like so high that you don't even want to see this guy talk. Like, he wants to get in there and just start beating some people up. I mean, like, you see how you know, it's almost, he reminds me so much of Scott Steiner. Mm-hmm. You know, he's always yelling. I mean, and that's all he needs to do is just go yell at somebody and beat somebody up, you know, and go take Sammy title, because I think that's what he's going to do. I mean, ain't no way he's losing to Sammy twice.
And there's an issue, too, Jason. I mean, who would you put with him as his mouthpiece? There's no manager out there.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That can carry Braun Breaker's bags for him.
Yeah.
Managers are a thing of the past, and it's something that really should be revitalized. I mean, let's face it, Prince Nana ain't no manager. He's a sideshow. The only manager out there that's worth anything is Paul Heyman. He's on the shelf at the moment.
Right.
So.
Plus, he's got his hands so deep into the bloodline. It's, you know, it wouldn't make sense to have him involved in Braun Breaker.
They're letting the other good one go.
But they just let MVP go. I mean, why couldn't they, you know, bring him in and do something with him? Okay, you don't want to do anything with him and Bobby Lashley, who apparently is on his way out as well. But my God, MVP fills a void. You don't have to pay him big money contract like you would a mid-card guy, but he's still just as valuable, right? So,
yep.
I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with this rematch for the Intercontinental title. Real quick, you know, and this is the other title match that really needs the spotlight put on it. The WWE Women's title will be on the line when Bayley will defend the title against the Queen of the Ring, Nia Jax. This has been a long time coming. We knew this was going to be set up as soon as Nia was starting to make her run through the Queen of the Ring tournament. Q, I'm going to ask you first. We'll go down the line. Where do you see this match landing besides Bayley in the hospital?
This one, you know what? This might be one of the more difficult ones, because at first I'm thinking like, okay, maybe they just owe Nia something because she was left off of the WrestleMania and all of that stuff. And Triple H seems to like her, you know, more than, you know, the rest of us. But I really don't know, because now you have that dynamic with her little bestie, Tiffany. So it can go all over the place. So this one is kind of hard to call for me.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I really wish they would do more with Bayley in this title run. I feel like of all the champions in WWE right now, she's the forgotten one in terms of the main roster. Jack Price, what is your opinion on the way they have handled Bayley with her current run as champion, and how do you see her faring against the irresistible force that is Nia Jax?
To be honest, I forgot about Bailey. I forgot she
For
was
real, right?
I forgot she was champ until they, showed the promo card of, her going to SummerSlam. But Bailey is like Sami Zayn on the girl version, but Nia Jax, I'm a big fan of Nia, even though she's I wouldn't say she's unsafe, but she just hurt people a lot sometimes. But
Clumsy was
Yeah,
the
you
word.
Unsafe is a term I think would be normally thrown around with her.
But I like Nia if she get pushed, like when she was champ the first time she did good, and but I just don't like when Tiffany got the Money in the Bank, so something's gonna like Nia's gonna win and Tiffany's gonna cash in on Nia. That's gonna be the story, and then because Tiffany, that's the next one. Tiffany's the next star.
Yeah, that's the next one.
And in order to get her over, she needs to beat somebody that's like Goliath type gimmick, and that'll be Nia Jax. But Bailey is something. I think Bailey needs to change it over again, or go back to Damage Control or something. But she has been forgotten.
Yeah, for sure. Shawn, how do you see Nia Jax and Bailey for the WWE Women's title going? Do we see a new champion crowned here?
Well, just like what happened in our first segment, I'm going to disagree with Jack Price here. I think Nia is going to go over, but Tiffany's not going to cash in on Nia. I think what we're going to see is Nia's going to be that transitional champion, like I called a while ago. We're going to see Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair, because Jade's going to go over on Nia. Like I said, Nia's going to be the transitional champion to Jade. So we'll get those two at WrestleMania. I think Tiffany is going to cash in on Liv, and we're going to eventually have maybe we'll have a unified championship match, Tiffany versus Nia.
You got a whole story set up.
5 steps ahead.
Look at
5
that.
steps ahead.
I mean, it goes to the reoccurring question: are there too many titles in WWE? And
Not
the
as
easy
many as
answer is
AEW.
yes. Well, for sure. We're not even talking about AEW this week. I
They
don't
got a new
have.
title.
I don't have the
Already done
patience
one.
for it. Brian, Bailey, and Nia Jax. Where are you going with this one?
I'm going with Nia to win. I think we already got a taste of what's going to happen with her and Tiffany when she almost cashed in on Bailey when Bailey got knocked down. I think you're going to have Nia win. I think they're going to tease for months about Tiffany cashing in on Nia. And just she keeps thinking about doing it. It doesn't happen. Then you have that little wedge in between those two. But I think eventually Tiffany's going to go over on Nia.
It's going to be interesting. We hopefully this winds up being a better match. This could be the sleeper match of the card, because there's not a lot of expectations in this. Again, because Bailey has become the forgotten champion. But we're going to run a break in just a moment. But before we do, Jack Price, it has been absolutely amazing to see you and to have you on the show, my friend. For those who want to keep track of you, where can they find you on social media?
On all platforms, just Jack Price with the number 607 at the end of it.
That's how many kids he's going to wind up with.
Not at all, Sean. I'm done. I am completely done. Yeah, you can follow me on Facebook, not Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter X, or that's what I call it. But Twix.
Yeah, that's what we call it.
and your OnlyFans?
I thought about it. I did, and I'm not doing it. I got the approval from the wife, but I just couldn't do it.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't do this. But yeah, so and now I'm on my way to go whoop some butt of Dean Hendricks and Wyandotte for
Grizzly's Bar, FU
Grizzly.
Wrestling?
Yes, sir. And it was nice to sit on a panel. I watch you guys every other Friday, and I just want to say you guys are doing a hell of a job. So.
Well, you are
Thank you,
too,
sir.
man. And
Yeah,
we are
you
so
are, too.
appreciative that you took the time to be here tonight. Like you said, it was like a reunion.
Yes.
We have Oscar Hosky here. We have ex-convict here. It's very cool to bring to see you guys, because I haven't seen you in quite some time.
Right,
So
right.
it's cool to see you doing so well on your journey to the big main event, man. And we are all pulling for you.
Thank you.
That's Jack Price, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be back with more of the Fatal 4-Way live on ONTV right after this.
On Saturday, July 27th, Lake Point Community Church will be hosting the 16th Annual Veterans Barbecue and Picnic to honor all who served. From 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Lake Point Veterans Ministry invites all veterans and their families to enjoy a free picnic, music, and more, with the event bringing the Oxford and Orion communities together.
So today we welcome everyone, all veterans, no matter what age, what war they serve in, the color of their skin, or what they believe in, is we all come together as veterans for the main purpose of sharing our stories, sharing the history, where we've been, where we served. It's very important to come together as brothers and sisters, and share that camaraderie that you can't experience anywhere else. It's like young kids growing up together, being that camaraderie in the same neighborhoods. This is kind of the same thing.
For more information or to get involved, call 248-628-0038 or visit lakepointcc.com. Did you hear that noise? That's right, the 21st annual Big Rig Gig is coming to Orion Township Friday, August 2nd from 5 to 9. Save the date for an evening full of trucks, tractors, bulldozers, construction equipment, police cars, fire trucks, and more. Grab your cameras to capture a night to remember with the people you'll never forget. From seeing vehicles of all shapes and sizes used around town, to the experience of climbing on and through the many machines, honking the horn, and meeting different staff members who work the vehicles daily, this event is a wide load of laughs, all for free. Located at Friendship Park on the corner of Clarkston and Baldwin Roads in Orion Township, be there and join other families to make a strong and healthy community to share the excitement today, tomorrow, and for future generations to come. For more information, call 248-391-0304, extension 3500, or visit orionparks.com.
And we welcome you back to the Fatal 4-Way live here on ONTV, the very special Slammin' Summer Party Edition. We are outdoors here in Lake Orion, Michigan, and we thank you for joining us. Along with Brian Bolf, Shawn Grugel, Quadell Edwards, I'm Jason Clouse. We broke down half of the card with TNA superstar Jack Price. It was so great to have him on the show here. If you have an opinion, if you have a prediction for the matches that we have talked about so far, you are encouraged to call into the show, 810-331-2829. Now we move into probably the big three matches of the card.
No, you know what we're moving into? Hey, Joe, if you got that clip pulled up, if you could bring that up for us, we sure would appreciate it, because Oscar Hosky went above and beyond, and we got a little surprise here for Jason.
Hey there, I am
So-
high-flying
oh,
wrestler
yeah, looky
Matt
here, here it comes.
Seidel from All Elite Wrestling, straight to you, Jason, here to wish you a happy belated birthday. I hope you had a great time celebrating with friends and family, and I hope this year all those things you want come right to you. You have lots of fun. You learn things. You make some great memories. You spend time with friends and family. All that wonderful stuff. And hey, I hear you are a podcaster, and I think that's really cool because wrestling's fun to watch, but it's much more fun to create something of your own and have fun with wrestling in your own way. So I want to say that everybody listening to this should tune in to the Hot Tag and the Fatal 4-Way podcasts. Peace, love, and pro wrestling. And have fun with wrestling. So I want to say that everybody listening to this should tune in to the Hot Tag and the Fatal 4-Way podcasts. Peace, love, and pro wrestling. Have fun with wrestling. So I want to say...
There you
You
go.
are so lucky that we are on live television right now. I want you to know that. I want you to know that. But you can damn well bet your bottom dollar, as soon as we're off the air, I'm kicking you right square in your face. I just want you to know that. Welcome back to the show. I'm sorry that you had to be subjected to that. I'm glad you guys got a good kick out of that. Q, the lack of respect that I get on this show is off the charts. Would you agree with that?
After you gave him a hot dog.
Oh my God! You want to talk about hot dogs? Let's talk about the WWE United States Heavyweight Champion Logan Paul. He is going to be defending the title against L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
This has been a match that we have predicted was going to happen since January, back at the Royal Rumble, and it's finally going to happen. Knight, Paul, the U.S. title. This is one of those matches that puts the prestige back on this championship. This, for me, is truly one of the main events. I'm going with LA Knight in this. Q, where are you at here?
Yeah, I don't want to see this one get dragged to another PLE. Let's just go ahead and crown LA Knight now.
For real.
We don't need a series here. Just one and done. Just get the belt off of Paul and put it on Knight. We've been waiting for a long time for Knight to even have a moment. I mean, let's just give it to him right here at SummerSlam.
I watched last year's SummerSlam, which was held at Ford Field in Detroit, which you were at, Q.
Yes, I was.
And Paul was part of the big battle royal that took place, right? The SummerSlam battle royal. And we thought back then, a year ago, dude, this guy is on the cusp of the biggest jump in his career, and he's just now starting to scratch or sniff a shot at the United States title, a legitimate shot. That this is a one-on-one match here, Shawn. This is LA Knight's probably biggest match in WWE. He's stepping out in front of 54,000 fans in Cleveland for this match. Is this his time?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Logan Paul. I love how he's a classic heel, but I think his gimmick has run its course. LA Knight, if he doesn't get this title, he might as well pack up his bags and go the way of Elias, start preaching on TikTok, because I mean, there's no need for him to be around anymore. It's time for LA Knight to have a strap around his waist and finally give him the push that he deserves.
Brian, Logan Paul has been booked as a attraction in WWE. We don't see him every week. He's not on every pay-per-view. He's now in this one-on-one match with LA Knight with a title like the United States Championship and what that means for the brand itself. Does it benefit from a more regular appeared champion in LA Knight, or is it okay with the route that they're going and only having that title on TV every third or fourth week? Where would you go with this with Logan Paul and LA Knight at SummerSlam?
It's kind of a catch-22 because on one hand, we talk about how there's too many belts and like you'd like to see less of them, but the other hand is you want to see belts be defended. Like you said, he doesn't show up every week. He doesn't show up to every pay-per-view. He's already wiggled his way into being the third longest reign for the U.S. belt.
Yeah.
He's 100 days shy of having the number one spot for it. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think LA Knight's definitely taking that belt from him on SummerSlam.
It kind of feels like now's the time, Q, and if they don't do something with him now, they've missed the boat on him, right? Because how many times are they going to be able to knock him down, snuff out his momentum, and allow him to organically rebuild that? He's done it so far, but a cat's only got 9 lives, brother.
Right,
you know, and he's like on his 7th or 8th, in my opinion. Would you agree?
If he don't get it this time, then I feel like I got a better chance of getting that belt before he get it.
Well, the next match that is going to take place at SummerSlam is not for a belt. It's almost more important than that. The rivalry, the long-term build, the storyline, the feud that has culminated with what we are going to see at SummerSlam between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre is finally going to happen. And to just shake it up a little bit more, well, we're going to throw Seth Rollins in there as the guest referee for this thing. Did this match need Rollins involved, Q?
I didn't think so.
I didn't either.
I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't put him in there. Like, not right now. I mean, the feud is hot right now. It's probably the hottest feud, like pure feud. Like, it's personal between these two. And granted, it did start with Seth Rollins and CM Punk, but things shifted. And I mean, you got to strike when the iron is hot with just these two here. And I believe it's still going to be, high quality. It's still going to be, these guys are going to want to bash each other brains in. I mean, there's going to be all kind of stuff going on. But we're going to see some fishy business with Seth Rollins being in there. And I think my prediction is they're going to protect whoever loses, which may be CM Punk.
Really?
Yeah, I can see some kind of screwy finish. They don't want Punk losing clean, but man, the Punk has been screwing Drew for a long time. I mean, God.
WWE's been screwing Drew for a long time. You can go back. How many times have we said, give this guy a world title run in front of a live crowd? He had the opportunity at WrestleMania. The dude held it in his hand for half a cup of coffee before Damian Priest runs in and cashes in Money in the Bank. Shawn, this is very, for me, I look at this match, and even though the title is not on the line in this is very reminiscent of the three-way storyline that was at the center of SummerSlam 97 between Undertaker, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. Are we going to see that same scenario play out here with McIntyre and CM Punk?
Without the chair shot?
Not to the head, anyway.
Right, not to the head.
I think, yeah. WWE is on repeat with a lot of the things that they do.
Yeah.
So I think you're 100% correct in that assumption. Seth Rollins seems to have a little bit more heat with CM Punk than he does with Drew McIntyre. But I really, really wish they wouldn't have put Seth Rollins in this match. I would have liked to have seen him dubbed a special outside referee maybe. They've done that before. Have the referee on the inside get knocked out and make Seth do the 3 count.
Yeah.
And, I think that could have set up some more storylines. But, yeah, Seth Rollins, special guest referee, it wasn't needed.
Brian, you and I have talked at length about this feud in particular. And we knew all roads were going to lead to this match in Cleveland as a part of SummerSlam. But we also learned very recently that they're bringing back the Bad Blood pay-per-view in October. And that is where Hell in a Cell made its debut in 1997. Is this going to be a step towards the blow-off or the payoff match inside Hell in a Cell later on? And knowing that could be a possibility, does that take away from the match that's happening next weekend in Cleveland? Does Seth Rollins' involvement take away from the match? Or is the rivalry that hot, it just does not matter? This is the match that a lot of people are dialed into.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot to unwrap with that question. No, I don't think it's going to take away from SummerSlam's match, because I think it's going to be an ongoing story yet still with those 3. I mean, there's so many matchups individually we could see, a 3-way matches we could see. I think there's a lot in store yet with those 3 there. I also have, I think Drew's going to win. I wish Seth wasn't going to be the ref, but I think Seth's going to screw over CM Punk.
It's
Remember how mad he was when CM Punk showed up?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't think we can forget that.
Right.
I think that's going to come back into play.
So, from a storyline perspective, does the winner of this match, does that put them next in line for the winner of Priest and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship?
That's the way I was looking at it. It's almost like a number 1 contenders matchup.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about it too, and it would almost have to be, right, Q?
Yeah.
Because when we compare this to Undertaker, Bret Hart in '97 with Shawn Michaels, that was for the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
It got no bigger than that. With this is the one match on the card for this year's event that is not a title match. You don't need the title. there is enough backstory, there is enough bad blood, no pun intended for this month anyway, that this is why it's included on the pay-per-view, right? This isn't going to be like a free-for-all match or a dark match. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's going to be wild. It's going to be really wild. The feud is going to get even hotter. They're going to try to heat things back up with Seth and Punk. I mean, we've seen Seth and Drew enough. I mean, so now they're trying to heat things back up with Seth and Punk. That's why I'm going with that screwy finish. And who knows? We can see like a three-way Hell in a Cell match. And
Which we haven't seen.
We haven't seen that. So I believe this feud is gonna really. I don't know how close they're gonna get to the actual championship. Even though it would make sense for one to at least be granted a shot, but for some reason I don't even see a championship being involved in this. It's just pure bad blood.
Yeah, for sure. Before we look at the main event, and this is clearly going to be the match that closes out the pay-per-view next Saturday. Again, August the 3rd, it goes down live from Cleveland Browns Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. I can make all kinds of jokes here. I'm going to choose not to. I'm going to take the high road here this week, gentlemen. I'm not going to bash on Cleveland too much. But before we do, Q, is there look, all I'm saying is they don't call it the Mistake by the Lake for no reason, is all I'm saying. Listen, is there anything going on with the chat that's worth highlighting?
Oh, man, chat is hot. The chat is hot. I'm going to start off. First, I want to start off with this request. Somebody, let me see who said that. Wayne Harper.
Okay.
Said
I was going to say, if you say Jeff Hosky, I'm unmiking and I'm
he's
just
in there.
walking over
Trust
there.
me, he's in there. So
He's in there a lot.
He's in there. But I like what Wayne Harper said about our guests that we had, Jack Price versus Trick Williams. Book it, Shawn. That's what not you. I'm on it. I said, man, Shawn Michaels booked that. I know we always say that Triple H is watching us. I believe Shawn Michaels is watching us too.
He is now.
Go ahead and book that. You got a hot star in TNA waiting to come over and have a match with Trick Williams. I would like to see that.
On paper, that would be a phenomenal match. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would match up so well. For sure. I mean,
They just had Cedric Alexander in the main event on NXT, and I could see that as well.
They did. Yeah.
For sure.
They did. We have all right.
Go ahead and say it.
Let's see. Okay, now Mr. Hosky here has about 20 chats that I'm trying to
Of course he does.
cipher through here.
Way to go, Tom.
Are they? Isn't that right, Tom?
And he goes with the prediction that Nia wins. Tiff immediately cashes in.
That's great. So the main event.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay, wait a minute. Yep. All right. He's got glasses on. All right, I'm gonna read the rest of this. Tiff immediately cashes in and becomes the first loser.
Oh, wow.
They keep hinting on 100%
Yeah, they have
women
been.
cash in.
They have.
They have. I hate that for Tiff.
Yeah.
I hate that for Tiff, but I would love to see the meltdown that you know would be coming.
Yeah.
that would be quite
Because the
a
loss with her, I don't think, even derails her a little bit. She has so much heat behind her.
That's true.
Here's my thing, though. Now, we've been talking about this for months, about Tiffany winning the briefcase and holding it and redesigning it with the Barbie.
Bailey smashed it up, so now it's for sure going to have to happen.
that. So now, like,
Told you, Triple
if
H watches.
she does that, would she cash in immediately without getting no sales?
No, it's an accessory. You notice that we're calling it an accessory to
Like
her
I said, I don't
outfits.
see it happening anytime
So-
soon. I think they're going to tease it for a while with her and Nia. That's a great story to have. It would be a waste to cash that in and lose that story.
I would have to agree with that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm a genius.
He is Stan Lee.
Anything else that you want to highlight before we look at the main event here?
Nah, we can go ahead and get into the main event.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to happen. The WWE Championship is going to be on the line. Cody Rhodes is in the main event. He puts the title on the line against the new head of the table, Solo Sikoa. And I thought about this on the way here tonight. It seems like SummerSlam, in terms of the big four pay-per-views, this is the one show that they really try to give people their first main event break. You look at Brock Lesnar, you look at, I hate to say this, but you have to add his name into it because he was in the main event. Back in '95, it was Mabel. It was a failed experiment.
That was terrible, man.
But he got a main event shot at
Diesel.
SummerSlam.
Against Diesel.
And then you look at what Lesnar did. He beat The Rock, and look what he has become in the years after that.
I think Orton as well.
Orton to some degree. But then you look at last year, Jey Uso and Roman Reigns is what closed that show. This year we get Solo Sikoa in his first main event of a major pay-per-view, one of the big four. It's for the WWE Championship. The odds are it's going in Cody's way. He is the odds-on favorite. Not a lot of people are buying into Solo as the head of the table. A lot of people are now really clamoring for the return of Roman Reigns. Brian, I think it's way too soon for Roman Reigns to return, but how crucial is this for Solo to at least make a good standing against Rhodes in his first main event for the World Championship? Folks, we apologize if you're hearing.
Scott Steiner's coming.
Scott Steiner is apparently on his way here. Holler if you hear him. Brian, how big is this for Solo?
Not just Solo, but the whole Bloodline 2.0 needs Solo to pull this off. Otherwise, when we get Bloodline 1.0 back together, it doesn't look so off balanced.
Right.
Because Bloodline 1.0 with Roman and the Usos, they held belts
For a long time.
We're not seeing any belts in Bloodline 2.0.
That's true.
That's something, Shawn, that we kind of alluded to it over on the hot tag a number of weeks ago, in terms of establishing this new lineup of the Bloodline to be a credible threat, especially if we're going into a Civil War type of environment leading into War Games in November for the Survivor Series. That would include Roman Reigns. It would include The Rock. But with this one, having, say, Jacob Fatu and Tonga become tag team champions or something along those lines, or the odd guy out going after the Intercontinental title or the U.S. title or what have you, how important would it be to take some of that pressure off of Solo if they were to win a title between now and SummerSlam, because it's not out of the question at this point?
Something has to happen in order to elevate them to the level of what 1.0 was. Because in my opinion, I know a lot of people will disagree with me. I already think Bloodline 2.0 is losing a lot of steam. I don't believe they introduced the characters correctly, except for Jacob Fatu. So a lot of people are still wondering who the other two guys are. Hell, I can't even tell you what their names are at this point.
Haku's kids.
Yeah. I just, what I would really like to see.
Ming and Haku Jr.
I know it would take away, but it could be kind of cool if Solo was getting ready to go over, Paul Heyman comes out, distracts him, Roman Reigns comes in from behind, takes him out, and Cody gets the win. I'd like to see that kind of push happen to ignite the Civil War, but is it going to happen? I don't know. Triple H, if you're watching, just shoot me a text or an email, let me know what's going on.
Cody Rhodes has been he's becoming more and more polarizing. in the last month. The numbers, we have talked about it, are starting to dip with him as champion. Ratings are starting to dip. Merchandise sales are starting to not, I mean, they're not falling off the face of the earth, but they're not where they're going to be back when he won at WrestleMania, because we're seeing the John Cena type of fanfare. The adults are now starting to kind of shy away from Cody, while the kids are still very much invested in him. I've gone on record on a number of platforms and said that Cody Rhodes is the new John Cena. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Putting him in a match, Q, with Solo, with as unlikable as Solo is, because people are wanting Roman so bad, and now they're starting to feel like Solo's being pushed down their throats. Is that a viable attempt from creative to make the babyface portion of Cody Rhodes that much more intact, especially when you're going into a stadium with 50,000 fans, because you don't want them having a bad reaction.
Right. Yeah. It's. I think it's going to be a weird crowd because, you're going to have more people going for Cody because of how much people really dislike Solo. But you're also going to have people in the crowd chanting Roman, Roman. So really, this match, it can easily get hijacked if you got enough adults in there. But it's also Cleveland, so we'll see. But really, what I'm paying attention to for this match, I'm paying attention to match placement. If this match goes on last, I expect something big to happen at the end of it. And it could be Roman coming out, it could be Solo winning the title and Roman coming out, just like you were saying. Or, but it's going to be something big happening if they put that match on last.
I think it is going on last because it is for the WWE Championship, the most prestigious title in all of professional wrestling. There is no argument about that. I will die on that hill. At the same time, I feel like there is something big that's going to happen, and this is what I think it is. I think The Rock's coming back. Because if you recall, the night after WrestleMania, Rock came out, he got in Cody's face, we have unfinished business. We haven't seen Rock since then.
That's right.
And of the two heavyweight championships in WWE, the world title with Priest and Gunther, and then subsequently Punk and Rollins and McIntyre, they have an established story. There's all kinds of roads they can go down, no pun intended.
Right.
What in the hell are they doing with Cody Rhodes right now? It feels like he's going week to week. He doesn't have an established rival other than the Bloodline. But even that is not as solidified as this.
Feels forced.
Bringing The Rock back, could that be the thing that really establishes Cody Rhodes for us, our demo, as a credible champion in WWE? Because I'm going to be honest with you, for me, I have a hard time believing that he is holding the title that Bruno Sammartino held, that Bob Backlund held, that Hulk Hogan held, that Randy Savage held, that the who's who. Cody Rhodes is attached to that, but he's not doing anything that's bringing that kind of prestige to that title, in my view. Stay tuned to all of our social media accounts and tune in to the Hot Tag podcast for all the very latest next Thursday leading up to this big pay-per-view event. For Brian Bolf, for Shawn Grugel, for Hollywood Q, Quadell Edwards, I'm Jason Clouse. We appreciate you for tuning in, and we'll see you in 2 weeks with the next edition of the Fatal 4-Way live on ONTV.